When is the latest you can take the MCAT and still apply this cycle? Great question. So, lots of people out there will tell you that the latest you can or should take the MCAT is April to apply in the same season. And the reason why they say that is because if you take it in April, of course, you'll get your scores back by May and you'll know your scores when you hit submit on your application. However, if you're graduating college or you're finishing college in the spring and you're graduating in May or June and you're applying, sometimes it can be really tough to take the MCAT in April, or sometimes you plan to take the MCAT in April and it just doesn't work out for lots of different reasons, and you need to push that test score off. So, in reality, you can actually take the MCAT as late as June and it will not affect your application. Okay, now hear me out. You are still going to submit your application in May, but when you submit your application, you're only going to submit with one school on your list. And I would just do a throwaway school for that one school. The reason you want to submit early, of course, is because you want to get verified. So you get verified, in the same amount of time. It takes usually, 3 to 6 weeks, depending on the year. While you're getting verified, your MCAT score is coming out. So once you get your MCAT score, you take it in June, you get your MCAT score in July. Once you see your MCAT score, if it's where you want it to be, you go in, your app is verified. Then you go and you add all the schools in that you plan to apply to, and you'll get your secondaries within a couple of days. Now, everyone's like, "Oh, but you're supposed to get your secondaries in, within the first couple of weeks of July. That's the golden rule." Here's the reality of the situation, okay? People who get their secondaries the first week of July oftentimes don't submit their secondaries within 1 or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And some people don't even get all their secondaries in the first week of July for a variety of reasons. If they get their secondaries in and they submit their secondaries, sometimes they're missing letters of rec, so they're not even getting screened right away. My point is that myth that you have to be complete by the 3rd week or 4th week of July is completely a myth. In reality, people are becoming complete and ready for review all the way through August, and they're still getting into med school. So if your MCAT score comes out, the first, second week of July, you are not behind. You're just kind of in the mix with everybody. Now, I will say after you take the MCAT, that 1 month before your score comes out, you best be pre-writing your secondaries. You can have your preliminary school list where it's like, if my score is this, I'll apply to these schools. You could have some schools that you're like, no matter what my score is, I'm applying to them. Go ahead and pre-write those secondaries. There are a lot of secondary questions that are, universal across the board. You can use them over and over at lots of different schools. Pre-write all of those, get those squared away so that as soon as your score hits, you add those schools in, you get the secondaries within a week, and then you're ready to just, pop all your answers in and submit them, and you are going to be right in the mix with everybody else. So I really do want you to take your MCAT by April if you can. May works too. But if for whatever reason you just can't until June, it's okay. It's okay. Don't let anybody freak you out about that. If you start thinking about July, August MCATs, that's where you're going to make, I'm going to pause. I'm going to be like, is it worth it? Like, why, really think that through. It's okay to be a late applicant. Sometimes people are late applicants and they're still very successful, but it does come with some risk. And we'd rather not be a late applicant if we have to. And by late applicant, I mean, you're submitting your secondaries in like September. Lots of people submit their secondaries in August. Honestly, I've seen it year after year and they're very successful. I get nervous when people are starting the process in September. That to me is starting to approach the late period of time. All right. Thanks for listening.